Welcome to Politisite.com's training on improving readership. My name is Albert Milliron. I am the managing editor of Politisite.com. Posting is just a beginning. We've mentioned throughout the training that the average blog receives very few views. The most successful blogs have a multifaceted promotion strategy. This training will help you improve your readership by doing a few things consistently. Promotion. Write often. Now I want you to write when you're inspired, but I also want you to write often enough that your readers can find your material as often as they search for it. It's very important to be consistent with your writing. If you write twice a week, write twice a week. 3 times a week or 5 times a week, do it as often as you can so people get an idea of when you're going to be posting your next story. Respond to comments. Folks are going to comment on your stories. They like to be engaged, and it's important to respond to your comments, but respond appropriately. A lot of times comments are going to be attacking of your story. Remember, go after the content, but not, or the process, but don't go after the individual. But again, always thank them, no matter what, that they've commented. Use links within your stories to create trackbacks to your content. I've talked a little bit about this already, but by providing links within your stories to other excellent stories, some of those sites will provide trackbacks to your content. So folks that read those stories can see your story and click to read your story, because if they're interested in that story, they're probably going to be interested in your story as well. You can write top 10 list stories. For some reason, Google kind of likes this, and it's consistently in the top places in Google by folks who write things like top 10 political blogs, or top 10 reasons to vote against Barack Obama, or the top 10 states that the top 10 best states to live if you're a conservative. Stories like this are excellent. If it's part of something that you want to write, and you want to write a top 10 or top 20, top 40 story, go ahead and do that. That'll definitely help you. Always write in your tag area top 10 or top 20. Tag and categorize your stories appropriately. Again, we spoke about this earlier, but remember, more is not better. Be specific and be focused towards your content. Use images that pertain to your story. Images are very important. It sometimes is the first thing folks see when they want to look at a story. If the image is interesting, they may click on the story. You may use images from our sources. We have our own catalog of thousands of images for you to use, but you can also use images from outside. Just make sure that they have Creative Commons, and that you give them proper attribution. A lot of times you'll hear Creative Commons with attribution. That basically means you can use that picture as long as you give them credit for doing so. You want to get credit for your work, they want to get credit for their work, so make sure that you provide them with attribution. Consider guest blogging. I've been a political editor over at Now Public for years, since 2007. The reason I do this is this gives me more folks that might not find Politisite, but might find, because this particular news site pertains to all kinds of people from all over the world. They're not all conservatives, so they read my story. If they're interested, they might come over. I provide links to my stories as well within my story, and also in my biography there's links back to Politisite. So guest blogging is a great place. If you have the great thing to do, if you have the ability to guest blog. You might consider opening up an account over at Now Public. Join online groups and web rings on politics. Comment and forum discussions. A lot of times there's lots of talk going on out there. And so if you take time to comment in these forums, You can also provide links back to a story that you're working on. Participate. Promote yourself. Add a link to Politisite on the bottom of your email. Put a link to Politisite on your business cards. Talk about your stories in conversation. I just wrote about this on Politisite. Participate in face-to-face communities where your target audience gathers. For example, you may already be a member of College Republicans, Smart Girl Politics, Freedom Works, your county Republican Party, or you go to CPAC each year. This is a good way to have face-to-face conversations. And again, when they ask you what you're doing, you can say, well, I'm writing now over at Politisite. A lot of times you can exchange cards and you can gather source material or sources for particular stories. Sometimes we'll offer you a press credential to go to some of these events. Usually we'll do this if you're going to write a story about the event. And a lot of times what we'll do is we'll have them waive, usually for media, they'll waive the fee. So you're basically going to be there as a media person. Twitter, Facebook, and Google+. In the previous training we covered this. It is very important that you promote your stories by using the share buttons on the bottom of each story. This will increase your potential universe to nearly 1 trillion social media users. Many readers will redistribute your content by retweeting, sharing, and repinning, but you gotta get it out there so people can see it so they can share your content to their universe. Consider what is trending. Pay attention to what is trending on the internet. Check Google Trends, the Twitter trends, what hashtags are trending, Yahoo's trending stories. Finding out what's trending on these different areas kind of gives you an idea of what the buzz is on the internet. So if you're already thinking about a story, this might give you an indication it's a good time to write about that story because the buzz is, and then those stories will migrate to the top of Google. Check out also what the lead stories are on Drudge, for example, or Hot Air, which is another news aggregator, or Breitbart. Also look at the wire services, AP, Reuters, and UPI. Again, getting an idea of what is trending in the news that day can give you ideas for stories, but it also can give you an idea for a peripheral story or a story that's associated with the content, kind of a subset of the story. Reference your posts. Comment on related stories on major sites that allow links. For example, I often comment over at Michelle Malcolm. I have an account there, and she allows link backs. So a lot of times if she's writing a story that I'm writing about, I'll go over there and say, great story, and talk a little bit about some of the content that she has and correlate it with the content that I have, and then I have a track back or I put in a link to mine. Also, Twitchy will give you an idea of what is trending and what the buzz is on Twitter. PJ Media is another place that has a lot of good writers over there, and they often refer to our story. So a lot of times we'll go over there and comment on a story and refer to one of our stories for their writers. Respond to political questions on Q&A sites. This is something that's really worked really well for us. If you write a story on a specific subject, what you might want to do is go over to Yahoo Answers or Answers.com or All Experts or Quora and find out if anybody is asking questions that you've answered in your story. You can go there, answer the question, and many times you'll become the number one answer, especially if it's very thorough and very accurate. And then your sources that you put will be your story. And that way, when people read that question, a lot of people will ask that question as well. They'll go and find the answer, and they'll also see a link to your story. Connect. Reference Politisite everywhere you have a biography, an About You page, or a place for links. You can do this on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Flickr, Instagram, or your other blog. Again, this is an excellent way to get it out there that you're writing for Politisite. Well, you're all set. Congratulations on completing the training segments. Let us know how we can improve your ability to succeed. Next step will be for the administrators to grant you access. We look forward to your first post. Thank you very much. Have a good day.